Hello, welcome to Con Corner. I'm Tina, and today we are dehydrating garlic for garlic powder. Y'all will remember, those that watch the channel, that I grew a lot of garlic last year. And I videoed when I was planting it, when I was harvesting it, and when I was making garlic braids with it. I planted, I think, about 8 different types of garlic, and some of it was seed garlic that I had bought, expensive stuff, and some of it was seed garlic that was given to me very generously by Bob Anderson at a seed exchange that we attended. He has gourmetgarlicgardens.com, which is a wealth of information for growing garlic. And then a couple of it were heads of garlic that I had gotten at the grocery store. And so these 5 have lasted, it's now April, a year and a half after I planted the first batch. This is the batch that I planted in November and December of 2015. Okay, and it's now April 2017. So this is stuff that I harvested a year ago, and just right out a year ago. Maybe it was May or so when I harvested, so it's almost a year old. So that shows which ones are the best keepers. These are the ones that I still have some. By far, my 2 best, with the biggest cloves and the most productive were the Blanco Piacenza, which I got as seed garlic, and the this one that was I've got it labeled Schwartz Groceries Red Clove. This was a garlic that I bought at a little independent grocery store in Goldthwaite, Texas, called Schwartz. This is a head that I pulled this year, about a couple of weeks ago. It's actually some of this that I failed to pull last year was probably a little bitty clove, and so it grew all through the year and turned into this. So that's impressive. That's, shows that a 2-year clove is going to be twice the size of these little 1-year cloves. So I'm pretty happy with this little accidental experiment. The other thing that this shows me is that I could plant this as a kind of, maybe not a perennial garlic, but if I don't remember to pull this or don't get to pull this some year, it'll continue to grow in the patch and it'll still produce some nice big cloves. So good things to know. Seed garlic that I also have still viable and that hasn't sprouted yet is the Viola Frances, the Siciliano, which is a nice garlic, and the very rare Rouge de la Trek, which was is a French garlic. They peel it off to show off the little pink cloves, and they market it, kind of as a brand, the same way that Vidalia onions are marketed and so desirable here in the United States. And so I'm tickled to have that just for that value. So I've got 5 garlics left. I'm going to put all of these into the refrigerator and store them down in the crisper in their little bags. You could put them into paper bags. You want some air to get to them. So I may transfer them to paper bags for long-term storage, and then I'll plant them in October or November. Now I took my cloves, even the ones that were sprouting and that had not yet gotten hard and dry. I first tried taking the ones that just had naturally dried hard, and I tried to make powdered garlic with them, and I broke 2 of my little coffee grinders, those little small spice grinders. Just broke both of them from trying to grate that hard garlic. So I'm not doing that again. So I threw that out. Instead, I've taken all my garlic that was still fresh, even if it had sprouted, and I have run it in the food processor and made a kind of a chunky paste with it. Now I'm going to put it on my dehydrator. I am back here in my laundry room. Let me just show you my laundry room. These are photographs that I bought and had, I think it was posters.com that I might have gotten them from. Anyway, I found all these photos and had them printed up and framed, and it's laundry, all the different, this is Israeli laundry hanging off of a tank, and there is out in, Taos or New Mexico somewhere, bless our Navy's heart. Even on ship that you gotta patrol. This, I believe this one was in Cuba. So my point is that all over the world, I find it fascinating that everybody does laundry the same. We all hang our laundry out to dry. This is just a fun little room. I recommend, if you do not like to do laundry and you do not like to iron, I recommend making you a pretty place for it. Something that's fun. I've got my little wooden clothes pegs here. Why not make it fun? Why not use some fun ones? The laundry change goes into a little vintage bank. I've got a bucket that right now I'm just shaving soap in as my laundry soap, and it works great. I'll add a little let me see here. I'll add a little borax or a little washing soda to a load if it's extra dirty, or just to kind of give it a boost. But the soap itself works really pretty good. And of course I use Biz and this out White Bright ever so often. New bleach, I still use chlorine bleach, but the new stuff eventually starts leaving gray spots on your clothes, and so this stuff works really good for that. I got tired of new irons. Modern irons have so many safety issues that they they turn off in 30 seconds and such. So I bought myself a vintage iron. You have to be careful because they're making some that look like this in China. They're made like the vintage GE irons, but they're not. They're brand new. So you want to find one that's, let me see here. If you get one, you can find them actually that have been hardly used. You want to get one that was made in USA on it. Okay, now over here to the dehydrator. I'm going to use my Excalibur that I bought. I have to say I love this because I needed and I bought it because I needed the large amount of trays and the space, but it doesn't actually dry things any better than my little cheapy one from Alco that was like $40, $49, so one of those round kinds. So unless you need to do the bulk and the volume, or you need the timer. Now, if you're going to spend the money on an Excalibur, I hardly recommend getting the one with the timer because that extra, I think it's an extra $25. That is a nice thing to have. But otherwise, the inexpensive ones have worked just as well as this one. But this one gives me the volume to do like lots of tomatoes during tomato season and things like that. So I'm going to use it. Let me get. Some kinds of foods need to be blanched or pre-treated before you dehydrate them, or even cooked in some ways. But this garlic does not. And I'm using a Teflon liner that I bought on top of my sheets. You could use just plastic wrap, and I'm just going to spread it out really thin, kind of thin. These little Teflon sheets are nice because it doesn't stick to them, but like I did when I did my pumpkin my pumpkin leather fruit roll-ups, I used plastic wrap and it worked just fine. I used that because I wanted to keep it on there, you know, to store it in. Alright, so there's one. I'm not going to put too much on each tray. My other trays are out right now. I've got them in there to wash. Eventually, everything, even these black trays, have to be washed because they just all accumulate stuff. So after you've used it to dehydrate 2 or 3 loads worth, you know, I'd take everything in and give it a good wash, just for general principles. I don't put them in the dishwasher. I don't know if I haven't even looked to see if you can, but just a good wash at the sink seems to be fine. Okay. And 2. All right, now there's my last one. Since I have room in here, I'm going to put them each, give them each a little bit of space between them. The more airflow, the faster it'll go. You don't have to take the other trays out if they're empty. I don't ever take them out, but I just happen to have them out right now. Now I'm going to cover it up and close it up. I'm going to adjust my heat down to about. Let's put it, I want to keep it pretty low because I don't want to cook them. I don't want to cook the flavor out. So I'm going to put it down at about 135, and I'm going to run this for the first time for 6 hours. It may need quite a bit more than, well, let's do 6 hours. It may need more than that, but I want to stir it after that anyway. Alright, I'll see y'all after a while. Oh, there we go. It says herbs. See, there's a little chart right there. Vegetables, this is 125. Fruits, rolls, let me turn it down to 125 because this technically is a kind of a vegetable. Alright, there we go. Alrighty. Back in a... I wanted to turn this back on really fast and say, boy, am I glad that my dehydrator is way back here in the laundry room, and I'm probably going to have to crack a window. The smell of garlic is everywhere. So this might be one of those projects you might want to set the dehydrator out on the the back porch, or and put it out in the garage to dehydrate your garlic. Same goes for onions. Those odors will just go everywhere. So I was afraid by the time I come to take this out that I'd forget to say that, so I wanted to pop that in there. Alright, thanks. See you in a bit. Okay, after 6 hours, it's still kind of soft on the top of it's dried, but there's places on the bottom where it's still really soft. So mostly all I'm doing right here is just kind of flipping it over, tearing it into smaller pieces with clean hands, as Julie would say, with impeccably clean hands. Lay that one around. Spread that out. Okay, this one back. And the next one. Oh goodness, talk about a strong smell. If I do this again, I'll do this outside. I'll just set my little dehydrator right out there under the carport, and we'll let the neighborhood enjoy the fragrance of 75 cloves of garlic, or however many this was. I don't think this was quite 75 cloves, but it was quite a bit. Oh goodness, talk about making your eyes water. I bet there's no germs in our house. So, you know, they say garlic is good germ killer. It's a good natural antibiotic. Well, if that's the case, the air has been purified. All right, now I'm gonna put this back in, and that was 6 hours, and so now I'm gonna give it another 3 hours. All right, I'll see you guys again after a while. Okay, it's the next morning, so I'm gonna open this up, and we're gonna see what we've got here. Oh yeah, everything's nice and crispy, crunchy. So you want every part of it to be completely crispy. I don't know if you can hear that. Hear how that's crunchy? All right. Now I'm going to take it in, and I'm going to run it in the food processor again and turn it into powder. Put it into my bottles. You could leave it like this and just run it just a little bit if you like granulated garlic, but for powder you need to run it until it's pretty powdery. So there we go. All right, I'll be right back and show you the finished product. And so there we have it. Out of that, shoot, I should have weighed that garlic before I dehydrated it. Well, anyway, out of all that batch that you saw, I got 2 nice jars of garlic powder. I just ran them in the food processor again, not the blender, but the food processor. It took a while longer. Might have done quicker in the blender, but then I just used one of those little cheap chip brushes. You buy a new one every time you turn around, and use that to brush all of the powder off of it in a funnel to fill them up. Normally you do this early in the year. You do this either right after you harvest or by September of that same year at the latest. I waited long on this because I wanted to see. First, I thought I could grind up those that dried naturally in their shells, and I don't have a powerful enough grinder for that. So that was the biggest reason that I waited. But the other reason I waited is I wanted to see which ones would keep the longest, because it's real hard here in the South, here in Texas, to grow anything that will keep for a long time, that will keep from year to year. Our onions won't. My onions that I grew last year, I grew 60 pounds of them, and they were wonderful. But by mid-December, late December, they were all starting to sprout, the ones that I had left, because that's when they want to be planted. Is that time of year. That's when we plant them in January and February. So so they're just kind of set up naturally to react that way. And same thing with the garlic. It normally is going to start sprouting in September, October from that year's harvest. So I wanted to see which ones would hold, and now I know. So if you do it earlier, you'll probably have a little bit whiter product. This is somewhat darkened by the fact that the cloves were aging. So anyway, I hope that you'll be able to enjoy your own homegrown garlic powder, and I love my dehydrator, and so whether you've got you one from one of the round ones, which is, I still have mine, I kept it because it's a good one, they all work great, and so I'm going to be doing some more things with mine this year. I really like dehydrated foods. It stores really well. So thanks a bunch. Thanks for stopping by my kitchen.